Rothbards. That sounds like a disease. I've got the Rothbards. What's wrong with you? I know a guy named Kevin Sparks. Look at that.
Wow.
Interesting. What's wrong with you? Well, man, the doctor said I had the Rothbards. Wow. What's he gonna do? There's nothing, man. There's nothing he can do about it. The crow?
Yep.
Red Fox, friends. Right there.
Famous comedian. Had a TV show, Sanford and Son. His real name was John Sanford.
Really?
And,
so
yes.
it's actually based off of his real name.
Nope. His name is John Sanford, and he had a brother named Fred. And his brother died early, and he named the character Fred after his brother.
Wow, I did not know that.
There's something else that most people don't know. Elvis was very good friends with Red Fox, and Red Fox was actually at Elvis's wedding, and there are photos. There are photos of them together. And there are stories. Linda Thompson will tell you stories about them gambling at the International. It sounds really bizarre, really weird. You don't see pictures of this. People didn't just have cameras like they do now constantly. But Linda will tell you stories about Red and Elvis going into the casino and gambling. Elvis didn't take it seriously. He would cash out a bunch of, get a bunch of chips. He would gamble for 5-10 minutes and then just give all the chips away and just, but there's stories of this. And also another thing Stump will tell you is, and can you imagine this picture in your mind? The Keno table, the Keno lounge at the hotel. Stump, B.B. King, Red Fox, and Charlie, 3 a.m., that was the regular hangout. So B.B. King, Red Fox, Charlie Hodge, all playing Keno together in the middle of the night.
And Stump.
And Stump.
There.
All the time.
Amazing. But
he was actually quite good friends with Elvis. If you see the big marquee shot of the Hilton in the 70s, it always said Red Fox off to the side. Say Ike and Tina Turner, Red Fox, and Red came to the parties. Elvis would host parties at the suite all the time. Red was routinely there. So it's not really well known, but actually Red Fox was really good friends with Elvis. So they played at the Hilton at the same time all the time, and Red was very friendly with Elvis. Elvis thought he was hilarious and would sneak into the showroom, climb up in there with the light guy, and the spotlight would be shining down on Red. Elvis would be sitting next to the guy watching the show.
Wow.
Yep.
And people would not know that he
didn't know he was there.
Their head.
Didn't know he was there.
Wow.
So there's Red Fox. This is right on Eastern Avenue in Las Vegas, and Red lived about a mile up the road on the right-hand side. And when the IRS
pointed to the house, we didn't see the
if you go back
sign.
up that way, you'll see it. It's a little red fox on the sign. When the IRS raided Red Fox, that was the house that they raided, and they actually took his watch right off of his arm. They took everything, and it was right up the road right here. But Red is buried right here on Eastern in Las Vegas.
So this is the entrance to. It's called
Palm Cemetery.
Palm Eastern right here, and you come in the front, you see where we're parked right over there, and you see there's 3 trees, and he's about center to the 3rd tree, just over, and you can see there's actually a red fox on the grave right there. So that's how you can find it, friends, if you want to come pay your respects. So that's Red Fox at Elvis's wedding right there. That is very cool. Very cool. Right there, friends. And what is the significance of the bird? It's got red on the beak.
That was never there before. It's the first time I've ever seen that here.
So that is like a crow, a black crow, but it's got red on the beak like it pecked the red fox.
Couldn't tell you. That's never been there in all the times I've been here.
Bizarre.
Had a heart attack on a movie set, and they all thought he was joking. He fell over. He was sitting on the arm of a couch,
like he would do in the show.
Yeah, he was sitting on the armrest. He was sitting on the armrest of a couch, and fell over on the floor in front of everybody.
Actually, it was a TV series he was on with
I
Della
thought
Reese.
it was the movie.
Wasn't Harlem Nights?
Harlem Nights. It was the movie Harlem Nights.
They finished that. This was a TV series.
All right, maybe I stand corrected.
He was doing on CBS with Della Reese, and Della Reese was there when he died.
You're right. So he was, but I do know he was sitting on the side of a couch.
Yeah,
I thought it was Harlem Nights, but I stand corrected.
They thought that he was doing
the Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But he was sitting on like the arm of a couch, like not on the couch, but sitting on it, and fell over on the floor, and they all thought he was, joking, and he was dead.
The same thing happened with a comedian from the UK, Tommy Cooper.
On the stage.
1984, and he was doing his routine, and then he sunk together, he fell apart.
Yeah.
And people were actually laughing until at one point somebody noticed that something was off. He was dead. He died on stage.
Here you go. There's another one. You were looking at the names earlier. Bang Soup Lee. There you go.
Bang Soup Lee.
It's a baby boy. What should we call him?
Bang Soup.
We call him Bang Soup Lee. All right, we got to go.
Somebody called him. Some people called him Bang Lee.
Yeah, he was on TV on a show called The Royal Family.
Yep.
And he had a heart attack on the set, according to Della Reese, it says. When she leaned down to Foxx, as he was on the ground, he said, "Get my wife." Repeatedly. And
that's it.
Then he
Because he
died.
knew he was in trouble.
That was October 11th,
Rick, what are
91.
those?
So, friends, I want to talk about Elvis Priscilla's wedding. This, of course, is Vernon and Dee at their wedding. And the next picture is at the reception after the wedding. And the wedding was actually at the Milton Prell, which was the owner of the Aladdin Hotel. It was in his suite, I believe, is where they actually had the wedding at. But this right here is after, in the reception. If you look above their heads, you see those square light fixtures and also the round speaker fixtures. The next picture is Red Fox with them, and you see those same fixtures above their head. So Red Fox may not have actually gone to the wedding itself, but he did go to the reception. And years later, of course, when Elvis was playing international, this would have been 1969, Red Fox played at the same hotel. So they evidently were friends. Now, how he got there at that point, I do not know. I don't know who he knew at that point, but he definitely knew somebody. So to confirm that Red Fox was indeed either at the wedding or at the reception or both, I found a newspaper article from the Vegas Sun from May the 2nd, 1967. It says Elvis Presley, 32, reportedly the highest salaried entertainer in the world, married Priscilla, 21, Monday morning at Milton Prell's Aladdin Hotel, of course, as I mentioned, in his personal suite at the Aladdin. Then it goes on to say, a newspaper reporter said, "Snap him smiling. He doesn't smile much lately." Presley joked, "How can you look happy when you're scared?" Then Presley's smile was very much in evidence when he laughed and yelled, "Daddy, help!" Presley's father, seated across the crowded room, said, "Can't do it, son. You're on your own." Comedian Red Fox, also on hand for the festivities, said, "It's the best thing that ever happened to me," meaning his marriage. He was saying that being married was the best thing that ever happened to him. Now, he married several other times after that, but that's what he said at the time. So at the time that he was invited to Elvis's wedding, he was virtually an unknown. He was doing comedy in Las Vegas, but he was not on TV as the character that we all know and love, Fred Sanford. That was much later. Now, Elvis actually gave him, he had some watches made. The company was named Matthey Tissot. And there was, according to my research, between 25 and 50 of these made. You see Elvis Presley around the bezel there and 4 stars at the bottom. And this is Fred Sanford's personal watch that Elvis gave him. That's the front. This is the back. And if you look online, you'll find that there was a bunch of these out there that Elvis had made, and they all had different types of bands on it. They all didn't have this particular band. But this is the actual watch that was owned by Fred Sanford or Red Fox. Now, this is a certificate of authenticity, and I believe Jeannie Foxx was his second wife, who he was married to at the time of Elvis's wedding. Now, there's something interesting on here. You see Jeannie Foxx at the top at the sign part. You see witness Debraca Foxx, which was Jeannie's daughter, that was not his blood kin, but he actually adopted her, even though him and her mother actually later divorced. Now, I think that the reason they got them to witness this was because they were around at this time, but something interesting is here. It says that he was given this, if you look on the top right, on his wedding day to Priscilla at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, May 1st, 1967. Elvis gave Red this watch. Could not be so because these watches were not commissioned to be made until 1969, 1970. So there's no way Elvis gave a watch that wasn't built till 1969 or 70 to Red Fox in 1967. So there you have it, friends. Tighten up every chance you get. So I believe that we have proved today that Red Fox did, in fact, attend Elvis and Priscilla's wedding, even though in the beginning I suspected this picture was fake because there's only watermark pictures. It's real in my opinion.